Over the last 3 or 4 years, I've been on the hunt for my ideal notebook wallet, and this is just actually a sampling of the ones that I've tried thus far. And it made me realize maybe I should go ahead and design my own. So I did. In collaboration with Lochby, I want to introduce the Sidekick wallet. My first product and something I cannot wait to show you. It's very hard to convey what it means to me to have something I designed enter the world. I'm so excited. I cannot even begin to tell you, but also it's a little bit nerve-wracking. If you don't have the right partners, well, things don't necessarily go your way. Thankfully, I decided to partner with Lochby. Now, this is a company that has been supporting the channel for a really long time. They were one of the very first companies to send out a product for review that I didn't have to pay for. And if you've ever had a small channel or you've had someone trust you when you haven't really earned it yet, you know that that makes an impression. And in addition to that, they've continued to grow their company, maintain their quality control and their customer service. So when they decided to reach out for a collaboration, I knew it was the right thing to do. But I also had some requirements that had to be met in order for us to move forward. Not only did they meet those expectations, but frankly, they far exceeded them. So we're going to be talking about that a little bit, but we're going to be mostly focused on an overview. We're going to compare this in size to a lot of other wallets on the market, notebook wallets on the market, and then we're going to talk about how you can set it up with pens and notebooks. And I know you guys are going to have a lot of questions about the notebook part of this video. So if you want to find a specific section, maybe you already have this product already, feel free to jump through. There will be chapters for you to find everything you need. So let's start with some basic dimensions in the closed form, as well as in the open form. Now, we have wax canvas on the outside, we have nylon edging all the way around with a really, really, really durable seam. The same thing is true with all of the pockets here. We have ripstop nylon on the inside. A bunch of different colors. So we have yellow inside the brown cover. We have a brown coloration inside the blue cover, and then the black one has sort of a light tan. So that's the combinations that you have available to you. Now, before we talk about what you can put in this wallet, I want to make it clear that this was designed first and foremost to be affordable. That was a requirement that I had when we got started. This thing had to be something anyone could purchase. And I had a number in mind when we began it, $30. It had to be under that $30 price. And thankfully they were able to meet me on that. These are currently sitting at $29. That is something anybody can afford for a product that will last a very long time, especially with their warranty. So very, very, very happy about that. It's so great to have something that functions, but is also nice looking and affordable. Real quick, let's take a look at some size comparisons within Lochby's lineup. I think these illustrate pretty well where the Sidekick fits. You can see that this is both shorter and narrower than the original zip up journal. And this one I found when I carried it, it had a little bit of an issue fitting in either the front or the back pocket. Not so much with the Sidekick. And then the brand new mini field journal, well, that's quite a bit taller and a lot wider as well. And it's definitely going to be something that you would keep in a bag rather than in your pocket. So notebook kind of primary here, wallet primary, if that makes any sense. There are other designs on the market, a lot of them in fact, and they all do something slightly different. So this is one of my favorites. This is the Boulder XL from ARC Company, but primarily fits the Moleskine Volant extra small notebook size. And then we have the Field Wallet from Write in the Rain. This one fits basically their exclusive notebook on the outside and some others. And this one is a little bit shorter, but about the same width. So hopefully that gives you a general idea in addition to the dimensions of the wallet itself. All right, so this is the wallet I've been carrying. We're gonna set up a brand new one. And we're gonna start with card slots. You'll notice that we have vertical and we have horizontal. It's not just 4 cards though. You can get a lot more in here than just that. Let me demonstrate. So here's 4, and these are actually RFID blocking cards, but they're pretty thick. 4 cards right there, no problem. 3 cards in the next slot, and then we'll do 3 more in the slot after that. So that's a total of 10 cards already in only 3 slots. Now I'm loading this up about as loaded as it can get, so you can kind of get an idea of where the extremes are. And then in this part right here, this is actually a little bit of a bigger pocket. You can get a total of 6 non-embossed cards, or probably around 5 cards that have embossing. All right, so there's your cards right there, and you can see it still closes without any major issue. If I were to install a pen, especially a slim one like this Aviator B3, that's not going to affect the closure whatsoever or any of the dimensions because they're over to the left. Okay, that's the way it would set up. Now, beyond this, as far as wallets are concerned, you probably want to use some cash or be able to at least carry some cash. And this will be able to do so bifolded without any issue on either of the 2 sides. And if you're not carrying a notebook, you know, you could obviously store a lot more cards underneath in this larger pocket. In fact, I could probably just theoretically speaking, you could do that, but I don't recommend it, okay? The point is that this could be set up in any way you see fit. It doesn't have to be just about carrying a notebook, and so it has the versatility, and it also is such a size that it will fit in most, not all, but most women's pockets, especially when it comes to the jeans, in the back pocket, and in some front pocket jeans for women. For men, no problem. Gonna be fitting in all the front pockets, the back pockets, no issues. Let's talk about pens for just a minute. Now, we went through a number of iterations to find the perfect width for the pen. At this point, we can pretty much accommodate anything up to a very large multi-pen like this one, so you shouldn't have any issues with fountain pens unless, and this is important, you not only fill it up completely with cards, but also with cash and a notebook and 6 more cards and so on. Like, let me show you. So this is about as much as I could humanly fit in the damn thing. And even then, I can still get it to close. So it's not perfect, but it does lay relatively flat considering what is inside. If it can fit that pen, it's probably gonna fit whatever pen you have. I would not recommend carrying 20 cards with you. And if you're not carrying that many cards, you're probably not gonna have any issue. It is, however, going to depend heavily on the size notebook you're carrying, or if you're carrying a notebook at all, because when you're not carrying a notebook, I mean, it's no problem at all. But different size notebooks, well, that's a section in and of itself. So let's talk about notebooks. I'm gonna be honest, when I first designed this, I wasn't 100% sure what notebooks would fit. And I was really pleased when it turned out it was a lot of different sizes, especially if I was willing to do slight modifications to make them work. The first one, well, I should say the last one I discovered, and is probably my favorite, is the Life Notes notebooks. These are A7 size, and they work fantastic in here. Now, you can actually do a couple different ways. You can actually stick it in with the cover inside, along with the notebook on the top, like so, or you can tuck it all the way in and go underneath and it will still work, as long as you have a relatively small pen. I did notice that. So if you have a larger pen, you might find that this is going to go in a little bit further and give you a little bit more space. So this definitely works, and I can highly recommend this brand, which are Japanese made. They're a little bit expensive, but man, is the quality, frankly, it's phenomenal. And they have plain, they have grid, and they have ruled, all of which are really high quality. You will also potentially find Write in the Rain notebooks, which these kind of, I don't want to say kind of fit. So a lot of people have already tried it just as is. But what I have done is actually, for most of mine, I've actually cut a small section of the back sleeve off. And what this does is it moves the notebook slightly in and a little bit farther forward. And this allows the pen to kind of get enough space. So especially if you have a larger pen, I highly recommend it. And I've done that exact thing with this notebook from Rhodia, which of all the notebooks that I've tested so far is almost a perfect size outside of the length. And you only have to make a very small adjustment cutting off the back of the cover for it to fit. Well, you'll see. Here, take a look. So this fits great. And I probably cut off more than I actually needed. But you can see this actually works really well. I will warn you, however, that this notebook, which is made in France, it can be a little premium, but they are almost perfect in size. It doesn't stop there, however. If you want something you don't have to modify, you can always go with the Moleskine Volant Extra Small, which fits perfectly inside the pocket. Like, it actually is a shorter dimension than the Noble Notes. You can see here, right? It's a little bit shorter, but it is also about the same height, right? It is not going to be as tall as the, sorry, that one's already been cut, the Write in the Rain notebook or the Rhodia. So you actually have quite a few different options in notebooks to play around with. And one I'll have to add that is always a good choice is the $1 notebook I found at Staples. So this is also a great height. It's slightly less than 5 inches. And the same thing is true with this. You can fit it as long as you cut some of that back cover off, and it will actually go in far enough to not interact with the pen slot. So let me quickly cut that so you can see what I'm talking about. So you really don't have to remove that much. This is a 4.5 by 3.25. Literally, I just need like 1/4 of an inch. That's basically all I'm trying to remove here. And anything with about a 3-inch dimension is gonna cover you. And that should do it. I mean, it's simple as that. And in fact, if I wanted to go in a little bit easier, I can actually just trim the corners right there. So it kind of follows the curved corners of the wallet. And so you can see this will actually set a lot deeper. And now I don't have any issues with that pen, and it will close. Even though it does stick out a little bit more, it certainly can be incorporated. There are a lot of different ways to play with this. And you can even, if you really, really want to, this thing still technically fits inside the dimensions. What you're going to have to do is kind of be a little clever and kind of cut a, well, you know what? Let me see if I can do it off camera, and then I'll bring it back in. Technically speaking, it does work with the 3.5 by 5.5 inch notebooks, technically. It's not perfect, and you do have to trim a lot of the back cover off, but yeah, it does work, technically speaking. I'm always finding new ways to use this, and the sizing is one of those happy mistakes where you find it doesn't just accommodate smaller notebooks like the Volant. It can do the A7 size, and then it can do the Write in the Rain size. And so like all of these different size notebooks, let me see if I can arrange them in a way that makes sense. All these different size notebooks in some weird way can be incorporated with this. And I really, really like the versatility. The last thing I want to point out is this utility knife. A lot of people have asked me about it. It is my design. You can find it for free on maxlvledc.com under resources. There is currently an article up where you can download this. Feel free to use it as you see fit, print it, give it to friends. I don't care. In fact, you can even sell it for, if you want to, but please don't take credit for the design. That's all I'm asking. And it does have MLE right there, so you know it's designed by me. That's pretty much all I want to say today. I'm sure there will be tons more questions, and I will be trying my best to answer them. I might even do some YouTube shorts directly answering some of the best questions, so feel free to leave them down below. As always, thank you guys so much for your time, and we'll talk again soon.